like this video, and you will never meet people like that. 2 years ago I saw that guy with the gas can begging for money. Tried to give him $4, but he said he doesn't take anything less than 5. After that I saw him there every day for months. Turns out he's a fraud with a new Jeep and a nice house. Been following him with this sign since. I bet he really loves that. Lol. I love how he's just in the background glaring in their direction. So perfect. I'll give you $4.99 if you smile for our picture. I don't take anything less than 5. Sorry mate. Next. It's for a Jeep honey. So this is actually near my house. The CB actually drives a late model Jeep. It's parked down the hill in a wash when he stands at the entrance to that roundabout. If I see a gas can I instantly assume it's BS. I travel for work and every time I go to this one town, I see the same guy at the same gas station with his gas can. Now what are the odds that this sob is still out of gas? What's even more funny is that it is a small town so everyone has to know. He must be there just to prey on the tourists. I've helped people out who were saying they were out of gas. But I don't give them money. I offer to buy them gas. I tell them to pull up at a pump and I'll do it. I've had a couple of people suddenly not need gas. And I've had a very nice family pull their van up and I filled it up. It really weeds these scammers out. Edit. Since this came up, I've never had anyone ask for gas at anywhere but a gas station. The people who did take the gas already were sitting at a gas pump. I didn't know that when I said I would buy them gases it was just a guy who approached me and asked for gas as I was walking inside. It's my standard response and I didn't think he would say yes. Instead he showed me where their beater old van was. It was him, what appeared to be his wife, and 2 small children. The lady was tearing up the while I put gas in, and he was just profusely thanking me. It really humbled me how much $20 can mean to someone who really does need it, and that not everyone's just trying to make a quick buck. If a person asked me to give them a ride back to their car after agreeing to take the gas, well, I would go, based on the situation. I grew up in rural Texas before cell phones and my dad would always stop for people on the side of the road. We would give them a ride, no matter how shady they looked, because it could mean a walk for miles if we didn't. But they would always ride in the back of the truck. So I grew up being taught, help people who need it, but be wary of people trying to use that kindness against you. How did he react? He just walks away. I messed up on the sign. It's totally see-through. If I doubled up on the board he wouldn't have been able to read what it said and stayed longer. Oh well. Is this on the border of Arizona and California? Yeah. Right by the Flying J with the built-in windows. Classic pit stop on the drive from LA to Phoenix. I had this old lady come up to me crying one day saying she just found out her sister passed away and she needed money for gas to get to her city. I gave her $10. About a month later same lady with the same story comes up to me and I said wow another sister died? Hopefully next time it's you. The tears immediately stopped and she just walked away. That's a gamble and a half that I'm not willing to take because I know my luck that she actually would have had 2 sisters die and I would look like a massive dick. It definitely crossed my mind, but her story was exactly the same and even her crying and pauses when speaking were the same. I could tell she had the performance down 8/10 acting, 10/10 pose. Would watch again. Good for you, man. I've met a few homeless who actually had a decent standard of living and just panhandled because it made more per hour than actually working. On a side note, I could see this format having meme potential. For real. Living in a city will disillusion you about panhandlers right quick. I'm still a sucker for a polite hobo with dog, though. Same here. There's one guy in particular where I live who is actually homeless, I'm fairly certain, but he refused my offer of paying for his meal from the restaurant I was just walking into because he wanted chicken instead of pizza. Turns out that the guy is also apparently a sexual predator. Whenever I see him, I walk to the other side of the street, no matter what. Had one of these guys knock on my door with a gas can. I said luck pal I'll do you one better, I have a big old can in the back filled to the brim I'm about to take with me to the off-road park, let's go fill you up. He said okay, and when I went to meet him around back he had bolted lol. Yeah they are not looking for gas at all. I had a couple ask me for gas money so they could get to our child's birthday party. I saw them 2 days later, and when the guy walked up and said hey can you spare some money, I need to. I cut him off and said get to your child's birthday party? That must be a wild rager if it lasted this long. He just flew and walked away. Now that I think of it, if they really wanted gas, wouldn't they be asking outside the gas station? And someone could simply fill up their little tank as they gas up their car. Lol. Seems like they are never actually asking at the gas station. Why didn't he just take the $4? It requires literally no effort. He's already there asking for money. You were handing it to him already close enough for him to just reach out and grab it. If this dude's doing well enough to turn down $4 just for moving his arm, I'm buying a gas can tomorrow. He was trying to get more. Just greed when he thought he had a sucker on the line. I find it hard to believe 99% people wouldn't just say well fuck you then if you said you only accepted minimum X amount. It immediately proves to them that you don't really need the money. Last Saturday a young girl at a gas station asked me for gas money. I never say yes. Cause I figure it's meth money. But I had $2 whole in my wallet, so I gave it to her. For some reason. When I came back out, she had a red plastic gas can out and was trying to put my $2 in the pump. Clearly she legit needed gas. So I just told her to keep the $2 and I filled up the red plastic jug. My good deed for the year. I was walking around Neck last year and you kinda just tune out people asking for money. But someone came up to me while I was at a crosswalk waiting for traffic and just straight up said that his friends had taken his weed money and could he please have some money. Gave the man $5 and he was thrilled. Had never had someone be honest when asking for money before and was kind of impressed. Kind of a novel experience. You've been following him for 2 years. Let me clear it up. The sign stays in my car and if I see him, I bust it out. He leaves right after that to his other 2 preferred spots. I follow him there, then he goes home when he sees me. Since March 2017 I've done this maybe 7 times. So just a few times a year. Do you guys have a weird sort of bond now? When he sees you, he goes oh man it's the wacky sign guy again golly. Then you have a good time following him around with your sign. Oh golly gosh darn it. Foiled again. If it weren't for those meddling kids. I was in rehab for a drug problem and met another guy in there who was legitimately homeless but panhandled for drug money. I couldn't believe the amount of $sign he said he could earn if he was at the right spots. Since I didn't have a job at the time but did have a car, he said if I drove him around to the various panhandling spots, he would give me a percentage of his earnings. I would drop him off in various neighborhoods and park somewhere secluded while he did his thing. There were wild variations in earnings, but I'd estimate he was legitimately pulling in no less $10 and sometimes up to $50 an hour out there. Then he'd quit before the cops hassled him, give me my cut, and have me drive him somewhere else. I ended up meeting a different homeless panhandler friend of his, and soon enough I was driving them both around and dropping them off, like some kind of panhandler pimp. Panhandler pimp. I'd read short stories about this. Yup, same goes for people claiming they need a few bucks to eat. I once offered to buy something at the restaurant next door to the place, where a guy was begging for money for food. Wouldn't you know it? He had some bogus reason for why he couldn't eat there and needed cash instead. Yeah, I've bought food for homeless people a few times. I don't give them anything if they ask for money, but if they ask for something to eat I will get them something to eat if I'm able to. I've had a homeless fellow literally deny the food I handed him and say you should have just given me the money. You can't buy crack with a Big Mac. Sounds like you're paying too much. Who's your crack guy? I've heard that some homeless people will deny food given to them if they don't see you buy it directly, because some generous people will buy food, add spit/gross stuff, and give it to the homeless person as a prank. On the other hand, they could just need cash to buy whatever they're addicted to at the moment. Used to live somewhat near a homeless camp, so I'd give $1 or $2 to people if I had it. I really don't care what they are spending it on, personally. Wasn't paying attention once, and gave a guy $20, caught it about 5 seconds later. But what are you gonna do? Ask for it back? I chalked it up and went on with my errands. Came back from the store and saw that guy coming out of the gas station with about 6 hot dogs and a ridiculously oversized Slurpee. Not sure if he was sharing or just having himself a feast, but I hope he enjoyed it either way. My dad owns a trucking company and had to fill in for a driver in an emergency situation. He stopped at a truck stop one night and had a woman come up to him and ask for money for gas. When he used to drive all the time, he would always tell people who asked for gas money that he'd put gas in their car, but he wouldn't give them cash. Plenty of people would get mad and just not accept, wanting the money. But this woman was grateful and said she'd pull her car around. Turned out, she was in a station wagon with 3 little kids and their clothes. They were fleeing a domestic violence situation, and she had just waited until he went to work, got the kids and all their clothes, and then just drove until they ran out of gas at this truck stop. They'd been stranded there for about a day and a half. My dad filled her car up and had her call her parents, who lived 2 states away. They verified the situation and said they didn't have the money to send to get her the rest of the way, but that the woman and kids would be safe if they could get there. My dad bought her cases of water, soda and non-perishable food, a styrofoam ice chest, snacks and gave her $400 in cash. There was another driver for Free Miller, who overheard what was going on, who donated another $250 and had brand new tires put on the woman's car at the tire shop attached to the truck stop. I think about this sometimes when I see people asking for gas money at stores. Thanks for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to see more interesting video. Goodbye.